Look at the screen you are using right now. It is a marvel of engineering, a portal to infinite knowledge, a cinema in your pocket. And relatively speaking, it cost you pennies. You can walk into a big box store today and buy a 65-inch 4K television for less than $300. Adjust that for inflation, and it is nearly 90% cheaper than a standard television was 20 years ago. You can subscribe to a streaming service for the price of a single sandwich. You can download a game that took 5 years and hundreds of millions of dollars to develop for absolutely nothing. The digital world is on a permanent discount. It begs for your attention. It practically pays you to consume it. And you might think this is progress. You might think this is the benevolent hand of the free market gifting you a golden age of leisure. You would be wrong. This is not a gift. It is a calculated economic sedative. The price of entertainment has plummeted because the product is no longer the movie, the show, or the game. The product is you, your attention, your data, your compliance. Tech giants can afford to sell you hardware at a loss and software for free because the marginal cost of replicating a line of code is zero. Once the movie is made, streaming it to one person or 1 billion people costs them mere fractions of a cent. They have infinite supply. But there is a darker reason the circus is so cheap. It needs to be. It needs to be accessible to everyone, from the penthouse to the pavement, because if you are watching, you are not thinking. If you are scrolling, you are not doing the math on your bank statement. They flood you with cheap dopamine to mask the fact that the walls of your economic reality are closing in. They give you the circus practically for free, so you do not notice that they have stolen the bread. Now, close the screen and walk into your kitchen. Open the refrigerator. This is where the fantasy ends and the brutal arithmetic of survival begins. That carton of eggs, up 60% in 2 years. That pound of ground beef, a luxury item. A simple bag of potato chips now costs what a full meal did a decade ago. While the price of electronics crashes, the price of sustenance climbs vertically. They tell you it is inflation. They tell you it is the supply chain. They tell you it is the war, the weather, the cost of fuel. They shrug and point to the invisible hand of the market, claiming that forces beyond their control are driving up the cost of staying alive. They are lying. This is not a supply chain breakdown. This is a hostage situation. Let us look at the numbers the news anchors gloss over. In the United States, 4 massive conglomerates control over 80% of all beef processing. A similar oligopoly controls poultry, pork, and corn. These aren't competitors. They are a cartel. When you walk down the cereal aisle, you see 50 different colorful boxes, 50 different mascots, 50 different choices. It is an illusion. Turn the boxes over. You will find they are owned by the same 2 or 3 parent companies. This is what economists call inelastic demand. It is the bloodless academic term for a very bloody reality. You can choose not to buy a new Xbox. You can choose not to subscribe to Netflix. That demand is elastic. If the price goes too high, you simply walk away. The corporations know this, so they keep the prices low to keep you hooked. But you cannot choose not to eat. They have you by the throat. When the cost of grain goes up by 5%, they raise the price of bread by 20%. Why? Because they can. Because you have no other option. In the last 3 years, corporate profit margins in the food and grocery sector have hit 50-year highs. Read that again. Not revenue, profit margins. While you are deciding between paying the electric bill or buying fresh vegetables, the CEOs of these grocery giants are reporting record-breaking dividends. They are not just passing on the costs, they are padding the bill. They are using the cover of inflation to gouge you for every cent you have, knowing that at the end of the day, you will pay. You will pay because the alternative is starvation. It is not just that the price is higher, it is that the value is being siphoned away right in front of your eyes. Pick up that candy bar. It feels lighter, doesn't it? That is because it is. It is called shrinkflation. It is a stealth tax levied by cowards. They reduce the size of the product by 10% and keep the price the same. Then 6 months later, they raise the price anyway. A box of pasta that used to be a standard 16 ounces is now 14. A bottle of juice is now 28 ounces instead of 32. They are shaving away your sustenance, ounce by ounce, gram by gram, betting that you are too tired, too overworked, and too distracted by your cheap glowing screens to notice. This is the great economic squeeze. Your wages have remained stagnant for decades when adjusted for purchasing power. The average worker today produces far more value per hour than a worker in 1970, yet takes home a smaller slice of the pie. Where does the difference go? It goes to the shareholders, it goes to the stock buybacks, it goes to the monopolies that own the very soil your food grows in. They have engineered a system where the things you need to survive, food, housing, healthcare, are becoming mathematically impossible to afford, while the things that keep you sedated, TVs, phones, apps, become cheaper every year. This is not an accident. This is a strategy. Consider the cost of a steak dinner cooked at home. For a family of 4, you are looking at $50, maybe $60 if you are frugal. That same $60 can buy you 3 months of unlimited streaming access to every movie ever made. The economy is screaming a message at you. Do not build. Do not cook. Do not nurture. Just consume. Just watch. Just sit there. They have made real life a luxury good. The visceral experience of cooking a hearty meal, of hosting friends with a table full of food, of feeling secure in your pantry, that is now a privilege for the wealthy. For the rest of you, you get the pixels. You get the simulation of a life, broadcast to you in high definition while your stomach growls and your bank account bleeds. 2,000 years ago, the Roman poet Juvenal wrote about a failing empire. He said the people had given up on their duties, on their freedom, and on their governance. He said they cared only for 2 things, panem et circenses, bread and circuses. The emperors knew that as long as the mob was fed and entertained, they would not revolt. They could steal the treasury, wage endless wars, and trample on the rights of the citizenry, provided the grain dole arrived on time and the gladiators fought in the Colosseum. But our modern emperors have figured out a new trick. They realized they do not even need to give you the bread anymore. The circus is so good, so mesmerizing, so all-consuming, that they can charge you extortionate rates for the bread, and you will still thank them for the show. They have inverted the equation. In Rome, the bread was free to keep you quiet. Today, the entertainment is free to keep you quiet so they can rob you on the bread. You are being played. Every time you celebrate a price drop on a new gadget while ignoring the price hike on a gallon of milk, you are falling for the oldest trick in the book. They are dazzling you with technology while they dismantle your quality of life. They are handing you a virtual reality headset so you do not have to look at the empty shelves and the maxed out credit cards in your actual reality. This is why you feel that simmering rage when you look at a receipt. It is the primal part of your brain realizing that you are being hunted, you are being farmed. You are a resource to be extracted, squeezed until you are dry, and then left to rot in front of a 4K screen. The cheap TV is not a bargain. It is a blinder. The cheap app is not a convenience. It is a cage. And that expensive grocery bill, that is the price of your silence. They are counting on you to do nothing. They are counting on you to go home, turn on the game, and forget. They are betting everything on the fact that you will choose the cheap comfort of the lie over the expensive struggle for the truth. Are they right? Look at your receipt. Look at your screen. And ask yourself, how much is your distraction really costing you?